Welcome to Medium Podcast. It's your host, Melissa Nami.
And it's me, Connor. Hi.
And today we got doctor, ballerina, musician, comedian, and sushi chef, Kari Thach.
That's me.
Yeah. How are we doing today, Kari?
I am fantastic. I've got my lovely soda here, so I am ready for everything.
Hell yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be shy about it.
Okay.
I saw you at Solaris at an open mic.
Yeah.
And you were hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
And you were very talented. It's like to say, because you were playing the guitar and being funny simultaneously. I loved it. I did go home and creep on your Instagram.
Oh, good.
And what made me so fascinated by you is you've been to my home country.
Of course I have. It's one of my favorite places.
So I was looking at your Instagram like, I know the spot. She's in Lebanon. And my mind just went, poof.
You were feeling good, huh?
Well, it's very rare that I meet anybody who's not Arab associated, like Lebanese or married to a Lebanese person.
To go to Lebanon.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I've been there about 4 times, I think.
Can we start there? What took you there?
Oh my gosh. Back in the day, I just decided to get on a plane and go somewhere. I was living in the Middle East and I wanted to explore. So I said, all right, let's go to Lebanon. This sounds cool. I had met some friends in Mexico and they were Lebanese and they said, hey, and this is the problem. When people tell me, come visit me, I do.
You do it.
So I always tell people, don't tell me to come visit if you don't want me to visit, because I will. Like, I've done it before, and I will show up at your door waiting for cookies.
I love that, though.
So I called up my friends, Stephanie and Simon, and I said, hey, I want to come to Lebanon. And they're like, all right, you can. And they weren't married at the time. So I stayed with Stephanie and her sisters in their parents' house.
Dude. And
that was my first experience in Lebanon. They had, like, this old stove. It was really cool. I was laughing because it was just this old, ancient, like, KitchenAid stove. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, people live like this? This is so cool. And it was, like, amazing. I think my first trip to Lebanon was 2018, I think.
Wonderful.
And then I've been back a couple times since 2 years ago. I was there doing, it's called Health Outreach in the Middle East. And it's basically like pop-up clinics in all these different cities. We went up to, I think it's Assad or somewhere up in the north.
Sounds like a city up there.
Yeah, really north, up almost by the border. And we did medical care for, people that didn't have medical care and people that have never even been to the doctor. And we got to diagnose them and help them, give them medication. And it was really a good experience. I drove all over Lebanon. Like, driving, in Lebanon is
crazy.
There's no stop signs.
Yep.
There's no stoplights. I think I saw one stop sign somewhere. Yeah. And you just kind of go. You're like, oh, I'm going to go. He's going to go. We're all, and nobody crashes into each other.
Yep. That's what I was telling him. I'm like, you're good to go. Like, there's lights, there's some stop signs for decoration, but you go if you're not going to hit the other person.
Yeah, you
That's
just drive and someone will honk at you and you honk back and then you just keep going. And everyone there was like, I'm Lebanese. I don't even drive in Lebanon. And I was like, yeah, it's different. It's a crazy place.
You were living in the Middle East.
Yes.
Where were you living?
I was in Bahrain, if you know where that is. It's a small island country near Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And it's like the Vegas of the Middle East. There's beaches, there's clubs, there's anything you want to do there.
Yeah.
You can literally party and have a blast. I loved living there. I was working with camels and it was so much fun.
Were you practicing medicine while living out in the Middle East?
Yeah, I was working on a couple tropical medicine projects over there and working a lot with camels and testing the camels, like urine samples. And
you say it like that's not the coolest thing on earth.
I have a lot of selfies with camels. I don't know if you noticed on my Instagram.
I did notice that, yeah.
I'm very good with camels.
I just thought it came from being around the region or doing like touristic stuff. I didn't sit there to think that it might have been like research related.
Yeah, those were my camels, my pets.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you are a okay, I have first here, you're a U.S. Marine Corps vet.
Yes.
Thank you for your service. You're badass.
Thank you.
Is that what got you practicing medicine? Were you?
No. I just, that's a good question. I kind of was in the military and they said, oh, you're going to get out soon. And I decided to get my doctorate and then did that when I was actually in the Marine Corps. So I would answer the phone, hi, this is Dr. Lance Corporal Thach. And people would be like, what? This is mind blowing. And they're like, yeah, nice to meet you. And just to be obnoxious.
That is so cool though. I mean, I don't believe anything you can do can come out or come off obnoxious.
Thank you.
You're sweet.
I'm sure there's other people that would probably think differently.
And if you do, you could fucking fight me. All right.
Oh, I don't want to fight anyone.
No, me. I'm gonna fight him.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can fight
Yeah,
them.
she's not
Oh.
offering you up to fight anybody.
Yeah.
That'd be
Okay,
rude.
yeah, I was like, I don't want to fight anybody. That's like attempted murder.
So you went from Marines. You said you got your doctorate, and then after that you went to medical school.
No, okay, so I am a PhD doctor.
Okay, got it. Cool.
I did go to 3 years of medical school before the Marine Corps.
Got it.
Got bored and dropped out.
Cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's not really for me. And then didn't tell anyone that I dropped out for like a year.
Really?
I was so embarrassed.
You kept
I
it
was
to yourself?
Yeah, and then like people found out, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna join the military now. So I just popped in and joined the military. And
How dope.
yeah, it was totally different.
And then when you finished the military, is that when you moved to the Middle East?
Yeah, about a year or two afterwards, then I was just like, oh, there's an opportunity in this country called Bahrain. I've heard of Bahrain, but I've never been there. Let's go.
Did you hear it in the Shakira song,
No.
Eyes Like Yours?
Oh, I like that song.
She says, came from Bahrain down to Beirut looking for
Oh
someone
my
comparing
god.
to you.
I've been to both of those places. So I could be the next Shakira.
Yo, we love Shakira here.
I love Shakira.
We love Shakira. Medium podcast supports Shakira. That is awesome. That is awesome. Because it's, ethnically, you're not Middle Eastern.
No, I'm Thai and Vietnamese. I was born in
Okay.
Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you move here?
When I was young. Yeah, not very exciting, but
I think that's pretty exciting because you went somewhere pretty foreign living
Yeah.
in the Middle East.
yeah, it was. I had never been there. I'd never even been to the Middle East, and I just was like, pack my bags and go. I have nothing to lose. It looked like a cool spot. I looked it up online. I was like, oh, cool. There's like Muslim people doing Muslim things. Like this, I can fit in. Like,
Yeah.
And I just went there and I made some of the best friends and ate the best food. I lived there for off and on for like 4 years.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Did you get a chance to visit when you were in Lebanon? Did you get a chance to go to Beirut?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
We stayed in Beirut, and my friends live up in
Oh,
by that Hotel Royal.
Hotel Royal.
Yeah, they live right off that exit now, and so the last time I went, I stayed there and
How cool.
rented a car.
I'm going to let you know the next time I go.
Yes,
We'll
please
end
do.
up there together.
Oh my
That'd be
gosh,
fun.
I would totally stalk you and.
There's no stalking involved.
Oh.
We'd be on the plane together. We just
I just sit behind you.
we go
like-
together. We wanted to go this year, but
I
the situation
know.
there's a little iffy at the
Yeah.
moment. So hopefully next year it'll be a little bit better.
I
And
hope so too, because we're not. I haven't heard we're doing the health outreach again this year. I talked to a couple of the other doctors, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't think so." So maybe next year we can go.
so the health outreach is something that you participate in yearly?
Yeah,
Annually?
yeah.
So cool.
I love it. It's a lot of fun.
That is such a wonderful thing to give back to people because healthcare is hard to come across over there.
Yes.
So that is a very selfless thing that you do.
It's fun. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
When did ballet come into play?
Oh, since I was young, I wanted to do ballet, and I finally saved up enough money to do ballet, and I just ended up dancing. I think I've been doing it for like 20 years or something like that. And now I dance the Nutcracker at San Diego Ballet.
That's what I was telling Connor, that you're like a real ballerina.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I saw your pictures, girl. You could point them toes. I don't know a lot about it, but it's such a beautiful, medium podcast. I'm going to be
Right.
asking you a lot about the mediums that you like to practice. And
okay, yeah.
I think professionally people can have mediums, like I'm asking you about your medical practices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you found yourself expressing your, how would I say it, your hunger for knowledge.
Yeah.
By researching on camels,
I'm
and
always-
you said
yeah.
tropical medicine. It's you found your niche, what you loved.
Yes.
And with ballet, it's such a, to me, such a, how would you explain it? Like a top tier art form. Like it's
It's kind of bougie.
it's classy.
I guess classy would be a good word for it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's different. Mm-hmm.
It is a classical dance style, right? So tell me what drew you to ballet?
I want to try everything. So I guess you could ask that question, what draws you to anything? And everything I see, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's try it. You know, oh, I've never been skydiving. Let's go skydiving, that kind of thing. That's my mentality.
Yeah.
So with ballet, it was just, I would walk by this ballet school and, you know, in the afternoons, I'm like, oh, that looks fun, you know? And then I was like, I'm going to do that, you know? So I did. And then I fell in love, and I can't say I'm the best at it, but I'm not really bad at it either. I'm just kind of that middle, like, I can do the things, you know?
And you get to perform it, though, which is so beautiful. You danced with the San Diego Ballet,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. And before that, I was in a company in Temecula, and we danced at the Temecula Theater. So I have a lot of on-stage performance. So when you asked me if the camera's fine, I was like, oh, yeah, the camera's fine.
I love that because, I mean, you never know, especially like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I still get uncomfortable performing.
Really?
Like, yeah, you don't get nervous when you go to
Never.
dance? Well, you practice it all the time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's in your brain, you know, and you're just like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. And it works.
How often do you practice, or is that what you call it? Practice dancing? Or?
You say class usually.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually say how often you take class. Because you're always learning. You
'Cause
never.
it's classy.
Yeah, class. Yeah, there you go. I like that. So when I was doing it in my top tier, like top peak, I was doing it like 6 days a week. It was a lot. So now it's just a couple classes here and there when I'm feeling like it.
But you're more rehearsed now, so you don't necessarily need to go to so many unless you're like in a recital all
like
the time.
Production. Yeah, recital is generally if you're just showing off like excerpts or numbers or something, but not usually productions. We would do 2 a year. And
Dope. So the Nutcracker is a production.
it's a production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me the.
Yeah, we would call it's a ballet, or you can say ballet, like, oh, I'm going to the ballet, I'm going to the production, I'm going to the show.
The show, yes.
Those kind of things. And Nutcracker is so classical. It's the same choreography. It's the same things. Like, you know what happens in the storyline. It's not mysterious. Then you look at other ballets like Giselle, and you're like, why are there peasants? Why are there peasants dancing now? And what are these ladies doing, like walking in the middle? Like it's very confusing.
Do you have a production which you participated in that you felt most like connected to or inspired by, one that kept you going?
Ooh,
Or
I really liked several years ago, I did Sleeping Beauty.
wow.
And I got to be White Cat, which was my dream role because it's a silly role. You're kind of a little bit sexual with the Puss in Boots guy, and it's a partner dance, and you just kind of like rub up against each other and like flirt. But then you're like, the White Cat is the flirt, trying to flirt with Puss in Boots, but then running away at the same time. You know, like, oh, look at me. Oh, just kidding. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
So he had this part when I had my leg up to my ear, and he's like running his fingers up my leg. I'm like slapping him. You know, it was really a comedy. Like, it was just a hilarious piece, and it didn't fit the entire ballet, right? The whole ballet is very serious, very romantic. And then you've got Puss in Boots and White Cat coming out with these masks on, like just flirting and running around the stage being silly. And that was probably my dream role. It was so much fun.
I think that's so cool that you're describing the dance moves and stuff as like flirty and silly, because you're able to portray that type of emotion through movement.
Yes.
And that is so cool to me.
It's really fun.
I like being someone, I think I'm awkward with my body.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm okay at working out, and I could play like a couple sports here and there as far as like
Yeah.
athleticism goes. But like, if I wanted to portray a certain thing with like body language, I don't think I could do that.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
It
But
takes
it sounds
time.
it sounds like you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, they laughed, so they were a little confused. They're like, why are there these random cats on stage? But it was fun.
Do you like, because you're a musician, you play guitar. I saw you also play piano.
Yeah, and violin. And,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not very good at the violin. It sounds like. Have you ever heard of Dying Squid before? Mm-mm. Okay, well, I'll play violin for you sometime, and you'll know what a dying squid sounds like.
Ooh. Do you know what a dying squid
No,
sounds
but
like?
I'm gonna have to look it up after this.
Yeah, just look up bad violin videos.
You're like, I could
oh.
get the sound just right.
I felt bad for my neighbors in Bahrain because I learned violin during the pandemic.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
doing anything, so I ordered a violin and was playing in my little apartment. And I'm sure the neighbors were like, "Shut up."
Yep. They probably liked it though. You never know. I have a neighbor around here that whenever I walk the dogs in the morning on Saturday, I believe it might be. I mean, I wish I knew exactly, but there's always a piano and a violin playing,
Oh.
and it's so nice. It kind of like chimes through the whole neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of nice.
It
I wonder
is.
what they're doing.
I should knock on their door one
You
day.
should and be like, hey, can I join?
Oh God, I'll ruin everything. I'm not musically talented. I wish I was.
Never too late to learn, you know?
That's what I was kind of picking up too. Like, as far as a lot of people that I've been getting to know recently is, especially like, talking to you, it seems like you look at something, you find interest in it, and you just choose to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things that I'm scared to do.
Because you just said you learned violin 4 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's already 2024.
When did you pick up the guitar?
I was 10 years old and I found my dad. It was Easter and I found my dad's old guitar from like Vietnam War or something like that. It was old. He was definitely old. I still have it. And I just started playing a couple chords and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And then started playing songs and learning how it works. It's fun.
That is so neat. Because you do comical music.
Yeah.
You do, musical comedy. I guess that's the better way to say it.
I guess, yeah.
Do you find yourself, do you like comedy?
I do.
Okay.
I really do.
Do you enjoy those dancing roles and those musical types of roles where you get to portray comedic things
Yes.
through? Okay.
I always even try. I was a maid one year in the Nutcracker, and it's not a funny role, but I made it a funny role. I kind of pretended to be the drunk maid, and
Hey.
I, had my hair a little funny, and then I'd come out on stage. I'd be the last one out on stage, or I'd be the one, doing something silly and picking fights with the kids, and it was just fun. Like, I brought comedy to it, even though Nutcracker's not supposed to be funny.
Do they allow you those types of artistic freedoms in the production like that?
They do, depending on the choreographer and the director. But at that studio, he was just kind of like, okay. At one point, he did say, like, tone it down a little bit. Yeah. I was like, okay. But it was just fun.
You had a good time with it.
I did.
That is so neat. Oh my God, I love it. Okay. So, guitar, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Were you always writing your own music? Because you do original pieces.
Yeah. Everything's always been, I just write my own song. I can do covers too, but I think the first time I ever did musical comedy, I did Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but I made it like sexy version.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was hot.
Do you remember the words?
It's like, Old MacDonald had a farm, singing E-I-E-I-O. It was everything's funnier with the guitar. Like,
no.
Yes.
I saw her last week at an open mic.
So bad.
And she's all like, I'm not going to be funny because I didn't bring my guitar. Was it that bad?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
You always like having your guitar with you when you're doing stand up?
It's like comfort for me. I mean, that's kind of how I started, was musical comedy. I did some original stuff and then I discovered I could do everything's funnier in a song. I give you a one-liner, okay, haha. I write it in a song. It's way better, way funnier. People appreciate live music. So even if you're bad, there's still, like, if it's not that funny, they still like that you're playing a guitar and they still enjoy it, and they're like, oh, that was kind of cute. That was kind of fun,
You are 110% right with the people always enjoy live music.
Yeah.
Any event, any place you go to is always going to be elevated if there's live music, at least for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You go to a bar if they're advertising live music. I'm like, oh, let's go to this place over another place. You know? Yeah.
How neat. And so when did you start recording your own music? You said you've been in a recording studio.
I did a couple recordings when I was, actually, I think the first one I did, I was 16, I think. And I was 16, and this old man found me on Facebook, or not Facebook, MySpace.
Ooh.
He found me on MySpace.
Old school.
Yeah. And I had recorded a song and put it up. You could put your music on the front page of MySpace and play whatever song you wanted. So I had played one of my songs and I put it up, and he contacted me and was like, oh, I'd love to record you. And I was young and naive at the time. I didn't know that everybody wants to record you. Like you go to LA, everyone's a producer, right? Yeah. So it was like that. But he did a good job. It was my first time experiencing a recording studio. It was really interesting. He paid for it all. And then I have a recording now from when I was 16.
How dope. Do you still have that album with you?
Somewhere.
Is it a song you're very proud of still to this day? Or
I think so, yeah.
That's cool, dude.
I did another one in college, and that was just a friend messing around, and he's like, hey, let's record. Yeah. And I recorded it, and I had it on SoundCloud for a long time, and I want to eventually do something with it because it's one of my favorite songs.
That's so cool. Connor is he's a musician, and we got beef. I don't know if you could tell, because he's I believe a talented musician. I love your music.
Thank you.
But he doesn't put any of it out. He's always kind of like holding on to it a little too long for me.
That's like me with art. I became a painter, and I have a hard time separating myself from my paintings, like giving them to people or showing them to people.
You feel like they're never done?
I've learned with art, once you're done, you're done. You put down the brush. Otherwise, you just keep going and you keep obsessing. So same thing with music. Once you're done, you're done. You don't touch it again. Don't touch the song. Don't change anything.
I have a big issue with that. I understand that. It's wrapping my brain around the idea of actually doing that. You know what I mean?
It takes some... There's some challenges there.
Yeah.
There's definitely a level of vulnerability that I assume exists there as far as like fear and wanting, not like, or humility with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I really like that type of mentality of like, when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Because if you keep on looking back at it, if anything, with anything in life, right, then you're never going to feel satisfied. You're never going to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Exactly. So I have to be like, put the brush down or put the guitar down, like, halas.
Yeah, there we go. Halas, I like it. Do you speak Arabic?
A little bit.
Hell, I mean, shit, you lived there for 4 years, you said? Or?
Yeah, I can read it and write.
That is so dope.
I got an AA in Arabic language, so...
That is neat.
Some.
What drew you to the Arabic culture?
I don't know. I just decided to go there one day and I just fell in love.
You're like Muslim people doing Muslim. Are you Muslim?
No,
I just got into it.
Was like, this is cool. Like, I was like, I could adopt these like traits and this lifestyle. This works for me.
It's definitely a slower pace out there.
Yes.
And that's something I try to like, when I explain to people what it's like over there, I'm like, they say island time.
Yes.
And I'm like, it almost feels like Arab time is also island time.
Arab time is, if you say, I'll meet you at 6, they're not coming until 8 or 10.
Yep. Island time.
Yeah. And you just know that. And you don't, it's not like here you say 6 o'clock, people show up at 5:45. There you like 6 and you have an extra couple hours and then they slowly trickle in and they're like, hey, and then they bring in food and there's always way too much food.
And that's always the best part.
Yes.
Did you learn a lot about the cuisine out there and stuff like that?
Yes, I can cook some Arabic food.
Nice.
I make matchbouz.
No, I don't think I know what that one is.
It's like Bahraini biryani.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like with chicken and rice and the powders and it's so good.
How cool.
Yeah.
Do you like Middle Eastern people? Did you like Lebanese people?
I love Lebanese people.
Cool.
They're the nicest. They're so nice and they're very honest and very fun. It's like, going down to Beirut is like, it's party city down there. It's crazy out there, and I find the Middle Eastern people are so nice, especially Oman. Oman was my favorite country because they're very peaceful there. They're very welcoming. They're very like, let's do this and let's do this and, don't pay for it. Don't worry. We got you.
Yeah.
I find other countries in the world are so much more hospitable than America at times.
That's a big time type of thing. As far as like the how you feel welcomed in a certain spot. Like here it's kind of like, you're just existing around us versus like if someone almost anywhere else, if they find out you're not from that area, they want to show you what that area is about.
Yeah, take care of you, invite you in for dinner. I every time I go to the Middle East, I always end up staying at someone's house because they're just so kind and
balling on a budget.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And it's not, you can't do that in America. I can't just walk up to someone's house here in America, knock on their door and be like, hey, can you make me pancakes?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. But in Iraq or Lebanon, anywhere else, you knock on their door like, oh, come in.
We're making food.
Yeah, like join us.
I saw that you spent time in Saudi Arabia.
I love Saudi Arabia.
Can you tell me what that? Because
my goodness.
I've had family go there. The type of the Lebanese economy is not always the greatest. So I've had family that works out in Abu Dhabi, out in Saudi Arabia, but they always come back. But my family, we grew up Catholic Arabic.
Okay.
So they had gripe with the dry laws and stuff out there.
It's honestly, okay, so the first time I went to Saudi Arabia, I had dengue fever. And this was the beginning of COVID.
What is dengue fever?
Dengue fever is like a horrible disease. Don't ever get it.
Okay.
It's just bad.
Yeah,
I'll do my best.
Try
not to get dengue fever if you can. And malaria, that's another one. That's no fun.
We'll stay away from that.
I only got been gay.
Dengue fever.
Because I've been gay.
That's
that was a dumb one. Don't give it any credit.
You should keep that in your house.
So you got there and you had a fever.
Yeah, and I was the only. So So on the flight there, I get there and I steal the blankets from the plane, which is like a big no-no. But I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna steal the blankets. And I get there and they're doing the thermometer on my head, and he keeps looking at it, and he's like, ah. And then he looks down and he goes, oh, American passport? Go ahead. Evidently, I had a terrible fever during COVID, and he just let me go because I had an American passport.
Damn.
And I had never been to Saudi Arabia before, and I walked in, and the women there were all impressed because they had just opened it for women tourism, like single women tourism. So it was a big deal to be there. And I was just like, oh, I'm here. And they just looked at my passport. They're like, look at all these places you've been. This is cool. The ladies just sat there flipping through my passport, so excited to see a lady had traveled. And then I went and got a rental car, and that was weird because women don't usually drive in Saudi Arabia.
They just started being able to.
Exactly. I was one of the first people there, so I was just driving around, and you'd see the men would go,
I'm just looking at you with rose-colored glasses right now, which is just so crazy to me because that is brave.
Yeah,
that is brave, especially like being from the culture. I'm like, damn, girl, you got some balls.
It was different. It was really interesting, and going there and figuring out who you can talk to, who you can't talk to, what you can and can't do. But I stayed with this really great guy. He had a little studio for rent, and I was super sick, and he'd leave food outside for me every night, and it was just ended up being a really great trip. So I ended up going back to Saudi Arabia several times. I took my friends there a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And Saudi Arabia is not one of those places where you're like, I'm gonna go there for holiday, and then you go there and it's just so beautiful, and I think some of the best beaches in Saudi Arabia. It's so nice.
So is the general idea around Saudi Arabia, is it a misconception or is it accurate?
Absolutely.
Misconception.
I think in some places it is kind of traditional. If you go to like Riyadh, it is very, Muslim-y. I don't know if that's the right word. Very,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah,
Very
they follow the laws.
Conservative, yeah.
Yeah, they follow the laws, and you have to cover up and everything like that. But I was out in Jeddah, and Jeddah, you'll see the girls will wear like regular clothes under an open abaya, right? The abaya, the kind of like robe thing.
Yes.
And so they would just it'd be open in the front, so you could see their Western
outfits.
clothes, and it was very much more modern there.
They'd have the hijab there or no hijab?
Some of them do. Some, I'll be honest, some completely cover, which is very confusing. Funny story. I was walking on the Corniche one night, and they had all these like ladies and set up with tea stands and stuff like that. So there's this lady on a blanket on the lawn, and she had tea there, and I went over. I was like, oh, can I get some tea? And she's like, tea? And I was like, yeah, shy man fadlik. And she's like, oh, okay. And so she pours me tea and just like stares at me. Turns out this wasn't a tea place. This was just some lady having a picnic.
Oh.
And I just decided to ask her, can I have some tea? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And then I tried to give her money and she wouldn't take it. And it turns out I just crashed some lady's tea party.
But she let you crash it with open arms. That is so damn sweet.
But I couldn't see her face. She had not the niqab, but the complete sheer covering. And
you can only see slightly what's behind
like the shape of the nose. And so I didn't know if she was an old lady or young or what. And that's confusing sometimes when you're going around and you're trying to talk to people. You don't know how to address people. It can be confusing.
It definitely is. I mean, to a very light degree, we all kind of experienced that for a year with COVID, only seeing people from the bridge of their nose down, you know what I mean? Or up, I guess is the right way.
It's hard to really understand people's expressions too, like read their facial expressions and be like, oh, this is what you're thinking and this is what you're saying. And it's difficult, but
it's definitely... I've never traveled anywhere where, I mean, like Connor, you've been to Mexico.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Traveling there, but like you're so white.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna deny that at all.
You feel like the other immediately. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, I've been to Mexico, I've been to the Middle East, and I fit in a lot. Right. Brown hair, brown eyes, whatever.
Yeah.
I've always said like, oh, I'd love to go somewhere like Thailand or to Japan where I feel foreign, where I feel different.
See, I feel foreign every day. So
you do?
It's interesting. I feel like I'm a white person trapped inside of an Asian body sometimes. I grew up with a white family in a very white neighborhood. So I tend to gravitate towards white people and white people things.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, we ate a lot of like chicken and broccoli and mashed potatoes growing up.
Yeah.
But now that I'm kind of getting in touch with my Asian culture and like when I go to Asia, I eat Asian food and like, but I immerse myself every place that I go for travel. It's just get in, be a local,
Yeah.
do the local things, like, and it's honestly, even though you're white, go to Mexico, go to like the local spots, go make friends, like it's
No, it sounds
yeah.
like a lot of fun to be able to travel and stuff right now.
Yeah.
But
I did
Sorry,
not bring that up just to be mean to you.
and even if you didn't, I wouldn't have cared. You know that.
I know. The big point I'm like, because when you go to somewhere like Saudi, not only are you visibly foreign, but like the things that you were doing, traveling alone, getting in a
Yeah.
car, being comfortable around so many different types of
Yeah.
people. All of that alone is something it's an anomaly to that
Yes.
culture.
Yes.
So almost anything you did over there, not saying that you were put under a microscope, but people were like,
they watch.
What?
They
Yeah.
look and they watch, and I mean, I went to a private beach and I could wear, you know, whatever I wanted to wear, and that was just so like interesting to see them be like, oh, you're obviously not from here,
Yeah.
you know. And it was interesting because then when I went to Lebanon, a lot of people thought I was a nanny.
that's what I was going to ask you that. It's not for some reason.
I was swimming in a private club with my friends, and all the nannies, they're not allowed to swim,
Yeah,
right?
they're just looking
so
at
they were
you.
looking at me with dirty looks because I'm holding my friend's baby and I'm like in the pool with the baby,
Yeah.
and they're like, why is that nanny allowed to swim? Like,
Yeah. My, gosh.
Yeah, she's told me about this before, about how that works out there.
yeah.
A lot of the nannies are from Asian cultures.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll be like either from Singapore, they'll be from
Or like Philippines.
Filipino,
Yeah.
some Sri Lankan, Sri
Yeah.
Lankan, you know what I mean? It's definitely because I was born here.
Right.
My family immigrated here during the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like right at the
Okay.
end of it. My dad tells me they tried to blow up his car
Oh.
and post assassination attempt. He's like, I gotta get out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what he says. I mean, I
That's really that's interesting.
that's why I always joke. I'm like, I was almost aborted in the balls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. I didn't think of it that way.
But they came over here, and it's not necessarily something I grew up around. But I'd
Yeah.
go back every year, and
Yeah.
being in America, being around this melting pot, I fucking hated
Mm-hmm.
the way. If I was always, I mean, my family was never rude with the nannies,
Right.
but there was always like a level of familial like connection I always wanted to make.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know, because I'd always be like, hey, why are you not eating with us? You know, why are you not?
That's where I love my family
Yeah.
because they never did that. Like,
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a nanny, but like my cousins, which were well off, that had, they always sat at the lunch table with us. It was
Oh,
never
good.
discriminatory. I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you, because it would make me see my family as less than human.
Yes.
If they ever treated
Someone
people
like
less
that.
than, because it's
Yeah.
crazy. But I mean, that's the circumstance over there. You
It's
know
just
what I mean?
different. I mean, that's migrant workers is so common in the rest of the world,
Yep.
but so is slavery. So
Yep.
there's a fine line there, and you see a lot of that in the Middle East too.
All of us close our eyes when we hop on a cruise ship. Like
Yeah.
like migrant
Oh.
work isn't insanely just saturating that entire industry.
Yes.
It's probably one of the biggest, right?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
They're out at sea like 6 months at a time away from their family. They're getting paid because I mean, I don't
Very
know how that
little.
works.
They
'cause
don't get paid very much. I mean, if you think about it, you go on a Norwegian cruise line. Do you ever see a white person work? Like
Nope.
not a white. I mean, not like an American working on it. You know,
They're the entertainment.
the
They'll like the singer.
comedians or the
Yup.
singers. They're American, but the rest is all Thailand, Filipino.
Yep.
You know, Serbian.
It's so crazy
Yeah.
to me. I've only ever been on a cruise once, and I remember I talked to the workers there, and they kind of told us their circumstance
Yeah.
and how they get paid almost like pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And
yeah,
it's
there
like,
was a guy there doing Beatles tribute stuff. You remember that guy?
Yep.
And I went up and talked to him, and he was just giving us the whole lowdown about how he was like, "This place sucks." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna have fun for my last day." And then-
Yeah, it's so tough to think about like the rest of the world and how it is. I mean, even looking in Bahrain, I mean, I had a house cleaner there, and I paid her 1.5 BD an hour, which is about $4 an hour to clean my house, and that she was happy.
Yep.
You know, I gave it all to her. I gave her the whole month up front, and it was like she was
Elated,
living large.
probably.
Yeah, and I'd see her on my camera. She'd be sleeping on the couch or whatever. I didn't care. But
Again, it's circumstance. You know what I mean? It's like, because to them, that's money they keep, they tuck it away and they take it back to their families wherever they're from, and it's sad because that is life-changing money to them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What an interesting type of thing, because here nannies are freaking, it's like a what's a career? You could be a career nanny.
And it's expensive here too.
When did you begin to take music and blend it with comedy? Well, I guess better question is, when did you start doing stand-up comedy?
So, the first time I ever stepped on stage for comedy, I was in Bahrain.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
in like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And my friend called me and she's like, hey, I'm doing a stand-up comedian show. Like, do you want to come perform? I said, I'm not a comic. I don't know what to do. She's like, just come bring your guitar and play some songs.
At this point, you were already performing around Bahrain, like doing music and
just
stuff like that?
Just regular music.
Cool.
Yeah. And singing, a lot of singing. And so I brought my guitar and I sang that old McDonald's song. And then I sang, you know, that Lodi, stuck in Lodi again. Do, do, do. It's like an old song. So I changed the words to stuck in Dubai again and just made fun of Dubai the whole time. And everybody loved it. And then I met this guy there and we became friends. And then I forgot about comedy, didn't touch it, didn't do anything. I didn't even see myself doing comedy that night. I was just playing some guitar songs.
Yeah, you wrote a couple songs.
Yeah. And then last July, I went and stayed with this guy that I had met in Bahrain, and we ended up dating, which was a terrible idea. But he says, hey, why don't you try stand-up comedy? Because he did comedy for 10 years. And I said, oh, that sounds great. I'll try it, and he didn't help me, nothing. So I went on stage and I did great, killed it. And then he got mad at me for doing comedy after a while. He started saying like, oh, why are you doing comedy? This is my thing. And I said, why did you put me on stage if it's your thing and you don't want me to
if you didn't want to share it? Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I thought you were going to bomb and do terrible and never do it again and hate it. And I'm like, so you set me up for failure, but I succeeded.
Fucking asshole.
I was like, and then I came back to California. And I originally started doing open mics because I was still dating him at the time, and he wanted me to find him.
You stayed dating that fool?
For a little bit, yeah.
The fool that would not let you shine?
I know.
As bright as you are.
I was young and dumb. I was 33.
Doesn't fucking matter. You're shining now. That's all that matters is you're shining now. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. So then I came back and I just started emailing open mics. Originally, I was doing it for him so he could get involved and come visit.
Was he wanting to come out
this way?
Yeah.
And but the scene here, you can't just
deserve you.
No. And I just finally was like, hey, I started booking myself, and he got really mad about that. We ended up breaking up, and then now I'm booking myself. Like,
this is a love story with yourself. I'm loving.
Yeah. Literally, I'm like, I'm going to do me. Like, I found a new hobby. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah. It's challenging for sure. When you did that set in Bahrain, did you do musical comedy that night when you performed with him, or did you just do you and a mic stand-up comedy?
Oh no, I did guitar songs. Yeah, it was really fun.
I love it.
That was the first time I ever did something funny on stage, and then last year. So yeah, I've been doing comedy for about 6-7 months now.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. So you recently moved back from the Middle East?
No, I came back 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still pretty damn recent.
I know.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah.
And now I love when I'm at the mics and I get to see you perform.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to be able to catch a full set of yours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Do you do like a full 10 or 15 with music?
Yeah, I do. I usually do, like, if it's a 10-minute set, I'll do like 2 songs and then do some jokes and lead up to it and then be like, oh, let's sing about it. And everyone's like, what? And then I start playing and like, whoa, this is not what we were expecting.
That is so neat. Do you feel like you have how do you say it? Like, part of the challenge with stand-up is connecting with your crowd. Do you find it easier to connect with them when you have the guitar?
Much easier with music because everybody likes it. Everyone likes music. There's no one that's like, oh, F this girl, she's playing a guitar. Nobody's gonna like throw a tomato at me because I'm playing a guitar.
You're up there, you're like, I got a little cheat code.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more fun. And like, I mean, think of this line, okay? If I just walk up to you and say, when I board the plane, I try to do my best. I'm a responsible adult. I can inflate a vest. Not that funny, right? Mm-mm. Put it in a song. Winner.
Yep.
Put anything in a song. Any joke in a song, it's funny.
Yep. I get that. I know what song you're talking about too. I thought it was really catchy.
The airplane song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't heard my Taliban song, have you?
You have a Taliban song?
I have a Taliban song. It is recruiting the Taliban, like recruiting people to join the Taliban. What? It's so controversial. And
Can you sing me? Can you chime me
it's
a
just-
little?
Let's see. It's just like, oh gosh. Now I can't even
No,
think
you don't
of it.
got it. You don't have to.
But the chorus is funny because
Should have told you to bring a guitar.
I know. I thought about it. You lead up to, you're singing about things. You're like, oh, right now you're just white and you're a mess. But with us, you can be a man wearing a dress. And then I'm like, and then everyone's confused. I'm like, Taliban. And they're like, what? And I did this song one time in this very, very not welcoming crowd. And this lady in the front was like, she just couldn't believe that I was singing about the Taliban. I'm like, okay, maybe this song doesn't
Like,
work
we got a
here.
brotherhood so deep, it'll blow your mind.
Oh, the song is very inappropriate, but it's funny.
I'll probably love it. It's probably something that'll make me cry laughing.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
right up Melissa's alley for
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I like to
Yeah.
be self-deprecating.
Oh yeah, and I think it's super offensive, but it's funny, and it's only offensive if you are offended by the I mean, I don't know, it's only offensive if you support the Taliban.
If you're pro-Taliban.
Yeah, I'm like, basically, I just stand there and make fun of Taliban
Yeah.
stuff, and like,
You're like, if you're getting mad about this, then we need to call the
there's
fucking
a problem.
feds to get
There's
you.
a problem. Yeah,
You found the infiltrator in the room. Like, I got you. You've already joined.
sure. Is that one of your other accolades? You're a spy also.
Yeah, people have asked me if I'm a spy. Like, it's very common.
Are you?
No, but that's something a spy would say.
That's what I was just going to say. Well, that's the right answer if you're a spy. That is so neat. I love it. But correct me if I'm wrong. Do you get a little more stupid? Do you get more shy when you do not have your guitar on stage? Do you feel no?
I just feel less funny.
Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm just like, this is not as much fun.
Well, you can even acapella.
Yeah, I could. but-
Acapella's not bad.
No, but it's weird.
Do you have a favorite song to sing? Like, that's a popular, like, radio song?
No,
No?
I should.
I like singing Let It Burn by Usher. I don't sound good, but it's a fun one.
I guess I like Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a fun one. You have a really pretty voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're a very talented person. You mentioned skydiving.
Yeah.
You skydive?
I do skydive.
Just for fun?
For fun, and I became an instructor, so that was kind of interesting. I did squirrel shooting for a while. And
What?
yeah, so I have my D license, so I can do anything.
That is so sick.
It's fun.
What got you into that? What made you want to?
My friend back in the day, she said it was her birthday and she wanted to go skydiving one time, and she was doing tandem, and I said, oh, I don't want to do tandem. I want to do it myself. So I took the day-long class to be able to jump by myself, and like then I got yeah, it's like 6 hours, and then all of a sudden you're jumping out of a plane by yourself on and
That's
it
wild.
was so cool, and I loved it. And then I kept missing I missed the target the first time. I landed in some field like on the opposite side of the street.
Your first time
Yeah.
by yourself jumping out. You know how crazy that sounds, right?
I guess it does sound crazy.
Like, if that's the only thing that kind of went wrong, it went pretty fucking great.
yeah. I was very disappointed that I didn't hit stay in the field where the big circle where they said land.
You see it from up top?
You do, but everything looks two-dimensional, and you can't tell how far you are from the ground.
It's like nothing's rendering
It's
right.
very weird. Like, you're like, oh, that's a tree, and so you have to flare right at the last second. If you do it too soon, then you stall your chute, and then you hit the ground and it hurts. If you do it too late, then you also hit the ground and it hurts.
And they told you all of this, and you still said, yeah, I'm going to do it by myself.
Yeah. Then I ended up in the field, and it was embarrassing. They had to bring the truck out to come pick me up, and there was like the parachute retrieval vehicle, and I'm just sitting in the back like, the shame,
Dude, you are so, I wouldn't even, you're so cool. That is so brave.
It was fun. And so then I just kept doing it. I went back for more. I loved it.
We have a homie of ours that got he's not an instructor, but he
Okay.
got certified to be able to jump by himself.
Oh, cool.
But he did the little pussy route and he took like 30 jumps. But you're out here, you did it once.
Yeah, you can just start in the beginning. It's called AFF, accelerated free fall, and that's the first step to doing it by yourself.
And I hope he hears that I called him the pussy route. 'Cause
That was the first thing I thought. I was like, he's gonna hear this.
one time. Well, yeah, one time. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was great. I have it on video.
I'm
and
blown
everything.
right now. I'm blown away. Did you do like flips and shit your first time?
No, I just was trying not to die.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was just like,
Do you do flips and stuff now?
Now I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can. We do formations.
I guess
all the
that's what they
time.
taught him in 30 jumps because because he jumped alone a lot.
Okay.
But it was like the certified jump that he did. He
Yeah.
was like womp, 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 with all the dubstep music doing flips and stuff. Sick.
Yeah,
It's so
I
much
edited
fun.
that video.
Oh my gosh. I really want to do it out of a hot air balloon sometime.
Have you ever considered doing ballet while free falling? I feel like you could do that. And I feel like it'd be sick.
I feel like you could. Yeah, you could do some like pirouettes in the sky or something.
You never tried it?
I've done stuff in the tube, like the indoor tube. I mess around in there and I'll do spins and stuff, but
I've
never
been
in the
wanting to
sky.
try that.
I want to try that too. Maybe we could do that as a podcast.
Get some content.
Yeah,
bring
not
the
a bad
mics with
idea.
me.
Let's do it.
I did a little thing with my nieces and my nephews. Like every year for their birthday, it was either like, okay, you get a gift or we get to do something tight.
Experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we started doing, a lot of them chose to do something tight when they were like in
Yeah.
that 12 to 13, or I guess more 9 to 13 age range.
Yeah.
Before they really liked makeup and all this stuff.
Right.
But we did indoor skydiving.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And I took them to one set of nieces and nephews. I took them to the one in Ontario, I Fly.
Oh, I Fly. Yeah, that's famous.
And then the one that I enjoyed way more was the Skydive Paris.
yep, that's
that where you go?
That's my home.
Oh, really? So there's a gentleman that works at the indoor thing there. I think his nickname was like Stupid Dave.
Okay.
And oh my God, I loved him. He was playing with he put him on his head. He was like
Oh, that's
spinning him on his
fun.
helmet, and he took him up, and it was such a neat little
It's
thing to watch them do.
cool. Yeah.
And I never did it because in my head I was like, oh, what if, responsibility of having children. I'm like, oh, what if
Right.
only thing that came to my head was like, if I got nauseous, then I wouldn't be able to like drive 'em.
You really don't feel nauseous in the sky. Well, I don't know about the tube, but in the sky, I never feel nauseous. I never feel pain. I don't feel fear. It's nothing.
When was the last time you did a jump?
December. So I do it every month. So sometime in December.
Do you have to do it every month to stay certified?
30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy doing tandem, like because you said you're an instructor?
I've never done tandem.
You've never had anyone
I've
on you?
Nope, and I've never been on anyone.
Okay.
I strictly teach regular.
Would you ever want to
skydiving.
do like a?
I don't know. It feels like a lot of responsibility to be responsible for someone strapped to me. I don't know.
I'm like, is it harder? Like, if you were to put yourself in that scenario, because I'm imagining like a lot of the people that I see do tandem, it's with a dude. Is it harder if you're
I think
smaller
so, yeah.
individual with
Well, you'd have a different canopy, so your canopy size changes based on your weight and your skill. So you'd have a different canopy for the weight that you have on you. So I suppose
plus the individual.
Yeah, but then you get people that are crazy and they like flail their heads back or like scream.
You
or,
just get headbutt really
Well, that's
quick.
why they don't have helmets. The when you do tandem, the like rider, I guess it is.
Yeah.
They don't wear a helmet because they can smash your head with their head.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Okay, I have one more thing I want to talk to you about. I have a couple more things I want to talk to you
That's
about.
fine.
But one thing that's I've been itching at, because you told me
Okay.
you have a pet pig.
I do have a pet pig. His name is Oliver.
What kind of pig? Is it a potbelly pig or like a teacup pig or?
He's a potbelly. Because there's actually no such thing as teacup pigs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's just a malnourished. They take malnourished 6-week-old pigs and breed them to make smaller pigs. It's very terrible.
That's so
So
sad.
and whenever someone says, "Oh, this is a teacup pig," it's not. Like they're gonna grow to be 60 to 100 pounds.
I've heard that happens a lot too. People go and buy teacup pigs and then they
Get too big
They get
and
really, really
and
big
then
and
they
they're like, what the
rehome
hell?
them. Yeah.
How big is your pig?
He's like the size of a maybe like corgi or no, he's bigger than that. Maybe like a Australian Shepherd.
Cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's trained in 3 languages.
Okay.
Yeah, and he knows like sit, stay, back up, spin, shake, wave. Yeah, he waves his little hoof. It's so cute. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because they're really, really smart. Too.
That's what I was
Yeah.
just gonna ask him about. Your pig sound. Oliver sounds intelligent.
Yeah, because I think it goes chimpanzees, dolphins, and pigs for level of smartness in animals. And they say pigs usually have about a 3 to 4 year old like brain. So what you would expect a 3-year-old to act like and do is kind of how you can expect your pig to act. So he does throw tantrums, he whines, he jumps up on stuff, and he can be a little brat sometimes.
This
Makes it a
sounds-
whole lot harder to eat bacon, doesn't it?
I don't eat bacon. I don't eat pork.
I don't blame you. I've thought about it, but it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of pork at all. Very, very
Mm-hmm.
rarely. But knowing that now is definitely
I
changing my
know.
perspective.
I'm like, oh, you're gonna eat Oliver's cousin?
No, I don't want to. He can do all the things my golden retriever does.
Yeah, and you wouldn't eat your
And-
golden retriever.
No.
Maybe more.
Oh, yeah.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
Just strictly no pork?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love sushi.
Okay, that's another thing I got here. I saw that because I saw on your Instagram you posted that you made homemade sushi.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count as homemade sushi if you're a Japanese, you said Japanese trained sushi chef.
Yeah, I was a sushi chef for a little bit. I quit my job and decided I wanted to be a sushi chef. So
Only
I-
dorks like me who throw a little bit of raw fish on rice can say homemade sushi. You make sushi.
Yeah, I love making sushi.
How cool.
It's fun. It's very calming and it's very delicious.
What made you
It is
decide?
very delicious.
Yeah.
Definitely one of I think I could say very confidently one of our favorite foods.
Oh,
myself
yeah.
and him. Yeah.
For sure.
What made you decide that you said you quit your job?
Yeah.
What job did you quit?
Oh, that was when I was working in Bahrain. And
Okay.
I worked through COVID and I was working on the COVID task force team and it just got too much and it was too many hours and too crazy and people had opinions, about COVID at the time. So I was getting a lot of nasty letters and I finally was like, forget this. I'm going to go be a sushi chef. And so I just quit my job like a week later. And then I called up Tokyo Sushi Academy in Tokyo and they accepted me into the program. And then COVID was more and they weren't allowing people into Japan. So I ended up having to get a job here. And no one would hire me within a 60-mile radius of my home because I was female and not Asian or not Japanese. So it was very difficult to
So you moved to Tokyo.
No, I didn't ever go to Tokyo.
Okay.
I got in. I still have a standing reservation there.
Yeah.
But I ended up working at a sushi place in Newport Beach that
Sick.
gave me a chance, and they're Japanese trained, and it was very stressful and very long hours, but it was fun.
Are there any interesting moments during Japanese training that you would say are kind of highlighted something that's not culturally regular through American?
There's a lot of drinking and drugs in the sushi industry.
Really?
Tons. It's
I would
really
not have expected
bad.
that.
I got to the point where I was drinking about a fifth a day.
No way.
Of like whiskey, just straight whiskey.
And that's
a
just part of the
fifth.
culture.
It was just what you did. People came in and they'd tip you with alcohol. So they'd be like, oh, I'm buying a round of shots for the whole team. And we'd all drink. And I wanted so badly to be one of them, right? Because I was the only non-Japanese one. I was the only female. And I wanted to be just like everybody else. So, of course, I took the shot, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
But then it was every 5-10 minutes you're taking a shot. And then you look down and the bottle's gone. And then you're sipping a beer at the same time. And then everyone's doing drugs. And it just got out of hand. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
That's crazy. I did
Yeah.
not expect the sushi industry to be such a party industry.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What the fuck? The chefs will like fight and beat each other up and like break glasses over each other's head and then all go out for a beer.
Yeah, the Japanese people love to drink and party for sure.
Yeah. It's intense. Like if I ever work at a sushi restaurant again,
I feel like I look confused.
yeah. You're like, I didn't know it was like that. It's worse than the music industry for
What?
sure. Yeah.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, I guess,
Yeah,
with
it's-
sushi. What the fuck?
It's like that in a lot of different restaurant industries too. It's just everybody just
Yeah.
parties and
That's kind of what I was thinking this was more going towards is like, because I know people in the service industry,
Yeah.
restaurants, chefs, whatever, bars. That's kind of the norm. But
Yeah.
it's very funny that it's like this niche type of like I don't think you hear that about Italian chefs or pastry chefs or anything like that.
You don't hear the French chef is angry, but he's not in the back doing lines of
Coke.
things. Yeah.
Lines of Coke and shots of sake all night.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, like I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, like Japanese sushi chefs are out here treating themselves like snipers. Like they gotta be alert, just ready to go, but they also gotta numb the pain a little bit.
It'd be like, you get there at 9 o'clock in the morning and then you go until 2 to 3 a.m., and we all go out afterwards, and then you got to wake up and do it all again. And it was so exhausting.
Yeah.
But I ate so good.
That sounds fun. When you make sushi now, you do it at home?
I do it at home, and it's very much less stressful. It's very fun. I just do it at my own pace.
You're taking a little bit of Dr. Pepper to the dome. You're not doing anything too crazy.
No, I don't drink anymore. But it's a lot easier at home. And
you're all pressuring yourself with Dr.
No, it's easy now, and I think everyone should learn how to make sushi, but it's very difficult. A lot of people are like, "Oh, look, I made sushi at home," and I'm like, "What is that?"
I worked in Monterey Park for a little bit, and there was a seafood, just a small little spot, and they would do, sashimi grade or sushi grade fish, and we would pick up just the way that they would do it is they would already slice it for you when they trimmed it all up. And I only ever tried doing poke bowls with it.
Oh, yeah, that's easy.
I could never get sushi rice right.
Oh, I can teach you that.
That'd be fun to learn.
Really easy. It's just even portions rice, 2 cups rice, 2 cups water, and then a fourth a cup of rice vinegar with a teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt and 4 teaspoons of sugar.
And that's what gets the consistency.
Yeah.
See, I think what I might have been messing up on is that I was buying already like pre-sweetened rice vinegar.
No!
Is that where I fucked up?
You just want the regular rice vinegar. And you need a kombu leaf too. The kombu leaf is like this weird like seaweed looking thing, and you want to cook it with it too for flavor. But then it's also you got to cut the sort the rice and not get it cut or mashed too much. It takes time. A lot of people say for sushi chefs you usually spend a couple years learning rice. I learned rice. Rice was not the hard part. It was cutting onions. I cut onions every day for like 3 months before I finally got them how they were supposed to be.
What's the way it's supposed to
be?
Paper
thin, like clear thin, like so thin you can see through them. And to do that with a knife, you have to have a really sharp knife. You have to have really skills. I cut myself every day. I always had like Band-Aids on my hands. It was just so bad.
When I was a cook, I'd cut myself constantly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really fun, huh?
Yeah, I had a package of the Next Care bandages in my car, and I'd always like right before work wrap all my fingers up. It was like a war zone.
For an anniversary of mine, I was gifted Japanese knives. And yeah, love them to pieces. They're cool. They were like from like an Instagram, but Kamikoto knives.
Okay.
It took off the tip of my finger. You can kind of see. It's I don't know if you can kind of see it goes at a slant.
It's like angled.
Yep. I was cutting cilantro with it, and
oh my god,
dude, the whole tip of my finger just gone. I cut it off and I fainted in the kitchen.
Oh no! Yeah, you have to be. Japanese knives are sharp,
dude.
And then you sharpen them with a stone, right?
Yep.
So they're even sharper, and it cuts paper. That's how you test it. You cut the paper, and if it cuts paper, you're set.
I would do this whole thing like once every week and a half, 2 weeks, where I got my whetstone and I would sharpen my knives. It was this whole thing. But since I cut the tip of my finger, I've kind of just gone to my Cuisinart knives.
You're like my Kroger knives.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little scary. It hurt.
Yeah,
it hurt. And it's funny, like, we're talking about being able to convey emotion with your body when you're dancing, flirtiness, silliness.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of romanticism conveyed when cooking.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Did you ever watch Gyro Dreams of Sushi on Netflix?
Oh, Hero Dreams of Sushi.
Hero,
right?
that's how you say it. Yeah, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I love that movie. And I actually went to that restaurant, his restaurant. I got reservations. It took a year to get in. Neat. And you sit at this counter and there's like 12 pieces I think they give you. And you just sit and enjoy every single piece. And it was such an experience. And I mean, he's amazing. He's
That
just,
sounds like a once in a lifetime experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I did something similar to that in Newport.
oh, really?
Yeah, on a yacht. Yeah, it was really, really
Oh,
cool.
on a yacht.
Yeah, it was
Look
really
at
fun.
you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fancy boy.
I know. Not everyone can be like, oh, I was just on a yacht the
He
other
was dating
day.
a fancy girl for a little bit.
How'd that go?
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. Things happen.
He'll cry.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, I'm all good. I'm all
Don't
good.
cry. Dry your
It's been,
eye.
it's been a minute.
Don't shed a tear. Have a beer.
You did do that though. That's like omakase style, right?
Omakase,
Like,
yeah.
chef's choice.
Yeah, and they just give it to you as you go, and then you pay whatever the price is at the end, and it's always a surprise.
Yeah.
It's a couple $100s, but
I'd imagine. Okay, so you're. How do I ask this one the right way? When you were sitting there experiencing that meal, you must have been aware that you're experiencing like a once in a lifetime type of thing.
absolutely. I mean, I've had a lot of great meals in a lot of. I ate at Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
Very cool.
The 124th floor, I think it is, or 122nd. And that's the tallest restaurant in the world.
I was gonna ask, do you feel it, the building moving up there a little bit?
No. It was,
So crazy.
it
Yeah,
was
I've been in
perfect.
buildings like 5 stories tall on Riverside that I could feel shaking.
Yeah, no, the Burj Khalifa is like solid, but I've had a lot of really great meals where I'm like, this is a one time in a lifetime experience that I'm never gonna have this feeling again, and it really helps you appreciate the food, and it's no longer food as fuel for your body, but it's food as like emotion to your soul, and like it's healing. It has like a healing effect on you.
I feel like that's where food can, because there's this big controversy with food shouldn't be entertaining. Food is what you said. Food is fuel, whatever.
Yeah.
But there is that experience where food can be romantic, and it does
Yeah.
become an experience, and it does become entertaining.
Yes.
Do you have a couple more moments like that you were self-aware enough to know like this is
I feel
Hyro Dreams or the Hyro restaurant,
Yeah.
Burj Khalifa? Are there any other ones where you're like, I'm soaking in every second of this moment?
when I was in Iraq and this my friend's mom had us over to her house, and she put this big spread on the carpet and chicken and rice and I remember the first time I went, I was like, oh, this is nice of her to have a meal. And then I went back a couple years later and she did the same thing, and evidently it was a special thing that she did for me to cook all this food. And that was like, even though it was someone home, it wasn't like a fancy restaurant, it felt good. The same feeling of like, this is healing, this is like God's touch, basically.
Yeah,
Like
you're aware you're
know.
experiencing something special.
Yeah, and it feels special, and it's food when it comes from the heart. You can tell. I can tell when someone has just like haphazardly put something together,
Yes.
versus when someone has really put their art and soul into it. And I noticed that with sushi, which it has ruined for me the ability to just go anywhere for sushi, because I go places, I'm like,
When you see the fish pre-sliced sitting in the
Yeah.
cooler and they're just putting it together as quick as they can.
and it's just flopping down, and there's no pretty stuff on it. I'm like, where's the love,
Yeah.
like, and they have all these things about your hands and preparing sushi with hands. So when I see people make sushi with gloves, I don't want it. I want to feel the hands. I want to feel the love in the sushi.
How do you feel about all you can eat sushi places?
Usually they're Korean run, which is fine. But they're not traditional. Like, you're not going to find the traditional wrap with like the like the wasabi in it, the real wasabi.
yep.
You're not going to find that. But it's good just to shove your face full of sushi.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can't complain, but I don't do all you can eat anymore because I just feel like I can only really do omakase or make my own sushi. I'm ruined.
I don't think that's a bad thing. And that's kind of what I wanted to ask too, is when you prepare your own sushi at home, do you prepare the fish yourself? Like, you have a deep freezer and all of those things?
I don't have a deep freezer, but I do go to the market and get fresh fish, and I'll just get a whole fish. Like, I'll get the whole yellowtail.
Yeah.
And I just bring them home, and because the whole yellowtail is, not that expensive. And
Yeah.
you get so much meat for it. And you get the collar, which you can bake and give to people as a special gift. And you've got all the fat and the belly and you got all this part. And if you know how to break it down, it's easy. And I mean, I'll cheat and have them clean it for me sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
can you scale it and clean it? Because I don't have time for that. But
Yeah.
I'll get the actual fish and break it down, or like salmon, I'll get the whole salmon and cure it and do the salt myself. And then it's actually cheaper than eating out. I mean, we made poke bowls last night, and for 4 people, it was $100, and that included alcohol and drinks and all the condiment, everything, just
Yeah.
to make poke bowls. And I mean, you think about it, that's $25 a person, but that's quality fish. That's great.
And you were probably full.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was plenty left over. I made onigiri this morning, so
Oh, how cool.
yeah.
Are there other cuisines that you enjoy cooking yourself? Or
Ooh,
is
I
it
love
mainly
making
just...
Thai food.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Thai food. I'll cook anything. I just had Russian New Year's about a week or two ago, and I made a whole bunch of Russian food and Russian cakes.
How
and
cool.
Yeah, that Russian food is very fun to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of gripe from Connor when I say this, when I get a little too sad and real. Like, so many people go through life. I've said this before, like, oh, that's so sad, Melissa. But so many people go through life without finding anything to love or to
Yeah.
experience.
It was the moment that you said it. I was like, whoa, you're bringing it down.
But this is what's so
It's true, though.
fascinating. It is. It's very true. And look at, like, you know, I really admire your, I mean, what is it? Your perspective, your outlook on, like, your
guess.
willingness to just try anything that you find interesting to you.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at you, getting to know you. Because, like, if I'm going to be honest, this is my first time having, like, a longer than
real
5 minute
discussion.
conversation with you. And it's nice to finally get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have so many different avenues of being able to express yourself
Yes.
through spoken word, through your body, through physicality, through being able to present food to people. And that's so beautiful.
It's fun.
You're able to convey so many different types of things that way to so many to vast audiences or to
Yes.
people that you love.
Which,
like
yeah,
with food.
and it makes it easier to connect with people because I can find something to connect with every single person I meet, which is difficult because I think you may know this, I'm autistic, right? So I already have somewhat of a wall when connecting to people. I don't always know what to say or how to say it, and it comes across kind of differently than what most people expect. And so when I have food or dance or music, I can kind of like bridge that gap, and it's like, oh, we all see on the same level now, you know. It's
You feel like you're speaking a common language. at that
yes, and it's easy to appeal to everyone and make everyone happy too.
moment. Yeah. I'm having a great, I feel like I'm connecting with you really well. I'm having a really good time with this conversation. And I kind of like, what makes you, because it's not like you do it haphazardly. It's not like
No.
it's not like you're like, oh, I tried to make sushi. I went and bought fish and I put it together. Like you said, like, oh, what the is that? You know what? But you legit, you took it on as an endeavor.
Yeah.
Skydiving, you took it on as an endeavor.
Yeah.
You said you were working on the COVID task force
Yeah.
in Bahrain. Like, that's a commitment. It's
Yeah.
not like you just, you know, you're like, oh, I'm a PhD. You're researching,
Yeah.
dude. You're working for a country.
It was fun. It's always fun. Everything I do is I'm now looking for something new to start. Like maybe I'll pick up balloon tying or something.
Dude.
I did make a balloon arch one time.
Okay, did you have fun with that?
It was hard.
I
but it
actually
was
made a
really
balloon
fun.
arch also, and it was insanely hard.
Hard. You gotta make the quads of the four
Yeah.
balloons and put the fish wire through it, and it takes time.
I don't think I've done that.
Oh,
so
it's-
I'm going to take it from both of you guys. Don't do it.
Yeah, I did it for a kid's birthday party, and it
Yeah.
was like, it took forever. And
Yeah.
just blowing up the balloons itself takes like an hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how many balloons you have.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't want to do that again.
Is that kind of like, because I don't even want to call them hobbies. Ballet is not a hobby to you.
Right.
Music is not a hobby to
No,
you.
it's life.
Yes.
Would you consider them obtained skill sets that you'd...
Yes,
Yeah.
but I would also consider them like my life. Like I can't live without sushi. I mean, I cried for years about sushi, trying to get a job, you know, and like thinking. And then when I left the sushi industry, I cried, you know, it was part of me. And it's the same thing with ballet. Like when the show is over, I'm sad. Like it's, you know, there's that, the curtain closes and everybody just breaks down because there's just this high, you're on a high basically of like performing and working hard and doing this. And then it's all over and you're like, what now? What do I have to live for now? Like there's nothing.
It's like your nervous system kind of crashes a little bit. Like you're so excited. There's a lot of excitement revolving around it and stuff like that. That I get that.
Yeah.
In your perspective, like being able to take on these things and not just doing it lightly. What motivated you to take everything on so fully?
I think it's a lot of it was just growing up. I both my parents are teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and they have very high expectations for how things are. And I always wanted to obtain or achieve those expectations and more. And then some. I always thought, okay, I'm not good enough, so I need to try something new. Oh, I'm not doing this good enough. I need to work better. And sometimes I don't have my priorities straight, you know?
I find that very hard to believe. Your priorities seem fucking
they're
okay.
okay, but you know, there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I should clean the dining room, but instead I'm up writing a song, you know. So
But that's life.
Yeah,
You took a moment from life to do life.
yeah.
You know, because
It's
if
a
you
balance.
it's so cool to me.
It's a hard balance, but I'm right now. If you have any suggestions on what I should try next, I'm all ears.
You said you paint.
Yeah, I do paint. I worked in an art studio for a while, and I love I paint acrylic. I just got into pastels, which is very difficult, but I had some of my art at some art shows.
Sculpting.
I could learn sculpting. I have a good friend that
Or
does
woodworking.
Woodworking.
I could see you being badass at something like that.
Oh, it's so precise.
Plus, I want to see you with like, you know, the earmuffs and the
just going at it, like making cornhole boards.
some cooler than that. I feel like because this is what I'm like really noticing right now. Like you're like, oh, I really wanted to meet those expectations and then some. I feel like you're really highlighting the and then some.
And then some.
So I don't feel like any of your hobbies would end at cornhole. If that,
No,
if we're gonna use cornhole as a metaphor for life,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
It doesn't end at cornhole.
No, not with someone like you, and that's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Oh man, you make me want to do shit.
You can. It's never too late. I always tell people it's never too late to try something new. You know, I hear a lot of people say, especially with ballet, a lot of people come to me and say, "Oh, I could never do that. I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm too uncoordinated. Whatever." I'm like, no, it's literally for anyone. Like there's adult classes, you can try it. Same thing with comedy. I'm like, I think it's great when new people get up there and try it. You know, just try something, and then if you hate it, okay, you can either do it again or not. Like those are your choices, but like you won't know unless you like take that first step and be like, oh, I'm gonna try it, and then you're like, oh, this was rad. Like there's some things I've done, and I'm just like, I where was this my whole life? Like skydiving, you know, where was this my whole life?
You just needed a friend to be doing it for their birthday.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated. Is there anything that you've tried and you're like, nah, not for me? Didn't like it.
Ooh, I mean, I did all the sports in high school, you know, tried all the different sports and in PE, and there's nothing I'm really like, oh, I don't like, you know. I'm just not, I'm not into like, I hate reading. So yeah, I don't read books.
I mean, if there's something that you can definitely skip out on doing, because you're doing the things that people write about in books.
Yeah,
You know what
I'm
I
like,
mean?
I don't need
Good
to
point,
read about
good
someone's
point.
adventure. I'm just gonna go make my own adventure.
And you live that.
Yeah,
Like you're literally, I quit my job. I called up the Tokyo. You're so cool. Like there's like a level of humility that you're not really ashamed of facing in order to get
No.
the things that or do the things you want to do.
Well, the biggest fear I think for people is failure. So that's a huge thing I had to get over is, oh, if I'm going to try this new thing, I'm going to probably suck at it in the beginning. But then, you know, you suck 50 times and then all of a sudden you've been doing it for 50 years. I mean, I'm in my 30s right now. If I start something new today, by the time I'm in my 80s, I will have been doing that for 50 years.
I love
Like,
that.
think about that. So, like, why not try something now and then do it for 15 years? I mean, pick up a new instrument or a new... I'm always learning languages. I'm learning Greek right now,
Cool.
which is very easy, actually. It's kind
Really?
of, yeah, it's close to Russian. And in some of the... like, the Cyrillic alphabet is very similar looking to the Greek alphabet. So, there's some things I'm like, oh, that's an L. That's a P.
I feel like you're gonna have a couple for this question. What languages do you speak?
Oh, I speak 9 languages.
That's so cool. You're so cool.
Yeah.
You're so fucking cool.
So Greek will be my 10th if I master it.
All right, so tell me the 9. English.
Oh,
duh.
English, Russian, Chinese, Pashto, Swahili, Arabic, Thai, Japanese. My Japanese is terrible, but it's passable.
I spoke when I was really watching anime. I'd say I spoke anime Japanese.
And oh yeah, you know,
For a
yeah,
second.
you know all the stuff from Totoro.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I know Totoro or Spirited Away, the pig one.
I love
That's my
that.
favorite one because
Yep.
there's pigs in it.
Yep.
I'm like, I love it.
It's a very beautiful story too. I love Studio Ghibli.
yeah,
big fan.
Oh, me too.
How cool. So you're really this is like a legit thing, like you're looking for your next.
Yeah,
your next
I
venture?
I mean, right now comedy is my new thing, and we're doing it.
I see you on shows and stuff like that. You're getting booked. You're doing the damn thing.
I am. It's weird. I didn't think it would happen.
It's fun.
It's really fun.
I like it.
It's really fun, and it's really interesting to see people's styles and stuff.
Do you have any shows coming up?
I'm doing one on the 31st at Doll Hut in Anaheim, and that'll be fun. I'm doing a little over 10 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun. I didn't really do much in January because I burnt myself out in December with Nutcracker and all the show. I was just getting booked like sometimes 2-3 shows a week.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm driving all over the place with this guitar. Like these songs are in my brain. And I just got so tired after Christmas. I was like, I need a break for January.
Have you ever considered wanting to do like a comedy music video?
I'm terrible with media and like video thing. I don't even like, I'm looking at your setup. I'm like, I don't even know what these wires go to.
Me neither.
Wires.
He does that.
Yeah. I could never do something like that. So I would need help from someone to do a video. But I think videos are great because they really like kind of showcase you and you can make them go viral. But
I feel like it's such a neat thing to do too with like a musical comedy because it's borderline. It's not only a music video, but you can almost make it like a sketch.
Yeah. It can be like with costumes and stuff. You know, imagine the airplane song and you get a fake airplane and you're sitting on the airplane.
Yeah.
You know, it could definitely be. There's a guy I follow on Instagram and he did a song called Somebody Farted on the Plane. And it's so good. He's got a beautiful voice. He's got all the instruments. And like, I'm just imagining that, like showing someone like farting on a plane, you know, and the whole thing. Like, it would be so great if he really put like, made a music video out of it. So I'm like thinking with my music, like, oh, maybe I could like make some music videos. And
I think that would be such a fun as a person because I'll say I consider myself a bit of a fan.
Yeah,
I'd look forward to something like that.
well, let's make a Taliban video.
I got cousins.
Yeah, I was like, you got Arabic cousins.
I got
dress
cousins
up
with beards.
They just need to dress up, act like the Taliban, and I'll be the recruiter.
That's
like
so perfect.
Taliban. Oh man, we're gonna get canceled.
I've been trying.
Yeah. She's genuinely been trying, it feels like sometimes.
No, it's not genuinely been trying. Apparently just the things that I say are not internet appropriate. So I lack a little bit of a filter, I guess.
Oh, that's okay.
I thought so, but
other people didn't.
It is mostly a comedy podcast, so it doesn't really matter. But YouTube hates people that use foul language.
Yeah, they do. I see that with comedy stuff. They'll X out the stuff that everything, little things.
Yeah, because personally, I don't care what she says.
Yeah,
it's mostly like my reactions are mostly like, oh shit, is YouTube gonna like that?
Yeah. See, I'm a clean comic, so I can always be filmed.
You don't curse or anything.
I never
like that.
swear. I never really talk about anything like overly sexual or
I love that.
Appropriate. So the one guy wants to book me because he's like, oh, you'd be perfect for like the wineries.
Yeah, it's also a very oversaturated topic of the sexual stuff and all that stuff in comedy. I feel
I'm not a fan of the
blue comedy.
Yeah, well, I'm a horror comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of artists out there that's what they talk about, which is their life, and that's fine. But I don't think I can relate to it, you know, and I don't really want to hear about people's genitalia.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't even consider myself a clean comic because I do have a dark, like I'd say a darker sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's, you know, all of my bits, if I switch out a word with another word, I can easily not cuss.
Right.
But the message is still the same, whether it's about like child labor or about organ. Yeah, just stuff like, you know, little things like that. They're lighthearted bits, but they're also true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which makes them a little dark.
Like edgy.
I don't even like to call myself edgy. No, just dark.
Just dark. You're just dark.
It's just what I find funny.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think you're funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I say it all the time. That's my favorite compliment.
Yeah.
I do aim to be able to do, because I feel like my challenge is when I'm too dark off the bat, I don't gain the connection.
Oh, yeah.
So my new battle tactic, which has been working on stage, is like, you know, clean first half. Like if I'm doing a 10-minute set, it's like the first 5 minutes are very digestible
Yeah,
bits, you know what
for
I mean?
anyone.
They're a little bit edgy, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
but then when I break into the darker stuff, they like me already.
Yeah.
So they're on my side. They know I'm not a horrible person.
that's a good idea, yeah.
You can't just walk up there and be like, penis.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't talk about that at all in my sets.
You have no reason
I have
to.
no reason to. But there's some people that do. You're right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, I did not expect to hear about your dick for 5 minutes, bruh.
Yeah, literally. And you're like, okay. And after hearing about 10 comics do that, you're like, I know everything about male genitalia now.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's definitely I mean, do you enjoy dirty comedy, or like being a clean comic, do you only enjoy cleaner comedy?
I'll be honest, I like it all, but it's got to be funny.
Yeah.
It's got to be good, and it's got to be different. I don't know if you know who Dee Dee Steps is. She's hilarious.
Oh wait, actually I was on a show with her in La
She's
Jolla.
great.
She was funny.
And she does blue comedy, but she is so good at it because she's expressive, and she'll be talking up there about totally inappropriate things, but she's blinking her eyes and she's connecting to the audience,
Yeah.
and she's like, hey, you sir, do this, and then it's funny, and you know, she's definitely totally not the way I would perform. I would never be like say the kind of jokes she says,
Yeah.
but I find her absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love her stuff, and she's just, and there also Jessica Curson. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a Jewish lesbian comedian.
Oh wait, she's the dark-haired comedian.
Yes,
Yes,
with the
she's
dark-
funny.
Yeah.
She's the one related to the gentleman from Scrubs, correct?
Is she? I
believe
didn't
so.
know that. She's hilarious. She is very dark. Also, she sang a song about the Holocaust. It was a gospel song. She's like, I'm gonna sing about the Holocaust in gospel.
Yeah, her brother is that Zach Braff guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She's funny. I
hilarious.
like her a lot.
And she's edgy, she's dark, you know, but she's funny. And
She's funny.
I love that kind of stuff. Like I love edgy stuff. I mean, I was in the Marines, you know,
Yeah.
we did some things.
But you don't really care for edgy's sake. Like you want to have that layer of humor behind
There's
it
got to
if you're
be
going to enjoy
something
it.
funny.
Yes.
I can't just hear about someone's sex life.
It's got to
and
be
funny.
clever.
Yeah, exactly. Done well and clever and interesting and have some sort of backbone to it. But I
So
don't mind.
if you were to like be booking a show, your comedians wouldn't just be like a Jerry Seinfeld or something like that. You would have a
Yeah.
bit of a mix up on there, like for your dream comedy show.
Yeah, I would probably have a little bit of everything. Some musical comedy, some like, you know, I love racial comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, not like being racist, but like stereotypes. You know, I have
Yeah.
a little bit about me being an Asian driver and how I crashed my car and I wasn't even in it.
Nice.
That's how strong my Asian powers are. Because I left the car and it rolled into the neighbor's parking or into the neighbor's
Dude, that
house.
happened to me the other day. Like seriously, I had to run back. I'm like, oh my god, it's still moving. I had to run back to my truck. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, we got a knock on the door at my neighbor's house, and they're like, is Kari here? And they're like, yeah, I think her car's in my yard. And I was like, oh no. And then, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm that Asian.
If Lebanon's in Asia, do I get to use is it just female driver, or do I get to say Asian driver too?
You can say female Asian driver.
Let's go.
I mean, Lebanon is technically Asian. It's weird.
Two negatives make a positive.
Yes, is that how that works? I mean, driving in Thailand was like being at home for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nobody follows rules here. You can just do whatever you want. Like, this is my dream.
This is my
like,
world.
Like, I don't know what a stop sign means. It's optional.
That's hilarious. That's why you fit in when you were driving in Lebanon.
Yes, because I just it didn't bother me. It didn't faze me.
I love it. Kari, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I had a lot of
This is
fun.
so
I feel
much
like I want to do a
fun.
part 2 in the future.
We can.
Yeah, I'm about that. Yeah,
I'll
that'd be
wear a
fun.
cow suit.
We're gonna have
A cow suit?
Do
Wait,
you,
what?
do you have one of those?
Oh yeah, I have everything.
Let's go. Can you bring the pig? Does your pig like dogs?
My pig is not a good traveler.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's kind of grumpy.
Well, I'm like, I've never seen a pig hanging out of the side of a car, which I think I'd love.
Right?
Yeah,
If I
that'd be
ever
pretty cool.
saw that.
That'd be pretty cool.
I would love that.
No, he like screams if you try to pick him up.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. He likes just being grounded and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a homebody.
Oh, I love it. That's so much fun.
I'm joking.
Let me help you out.
You not help her not choke, help her choke more.
Choke you more. I got you.
She's like, let me complete the circle.
Hell yeah, dude. We're gonna thank you for coming. Thank you for being
thank
here.
you for having me. This
We're
was
gonna
great.
put your Instagram right here so people can follow you, so people can find you. Hell yeah.
Am I pointing in the right spot?
Yep, you got
Yeah.
it.
It'll be around
Like
there.
and subscribe. Also like and subscribe Medium Podcast.
Yes.
Thank you. That feels nice. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Kari, you're the bomb diggity.
Yay.
Like, share, subscribe.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.